Everyone knows that it's not appropriate to compare apples and oranges, yet it's easy to fall into that trap. Take lost costs, for example. Generally speaking, benefits, or losses, are paid to injured workers in two ways: indemnity for lost wages while the injured worker is recovering, and medical for treatment. When losses are then compared to payroll, this is called a loss cost. These are determined for each job classification and can vary significantly across occupations. To get a sense of the loss cost level across all job types for a state, we can take an average, but not just any average will do. A simple average would give equal weight to each job type. However, there are far more computer programmers than lumberjacks. To calculate the average, we need to weight the loss costs for each job type. That way, the average state loss cost truly represents the mix of businesses in that state. Now that we have an average loss cost for each state, can we just line them up next to each other and compare them? No way! That would be a case of apples and oranges. Savannah and Pierre are here to illustrate. Savannah is from Georgia and Pierre is from South Dakota. And it's clearly not reasonable to compare the two. So why would it be okay to compare loss costs in Georgia to those in South Dakota?
Sorry, darling, that just ain't right.
Remember, to reflect each state's mix of business, we use each state's own payroll by job type. That mix of business can vary from state to state. Some states have more office and clerical jobs, and others have more in energy or construction. Differences in the mix of job types can have a big impact on average loss costs and make comparisons across states tricky. What else can cause average loss costs to vary across states? Well, on the indemnity side, benefits for injured workers may vary across states due to differing wage levels, benefit rates, durations, cost of living adjustments, waiting periods, retroactive periods, and maximum weekly benefits. These factors can also change over time as new laws are enacted and the courts interpret those laws. Speaking of courts, let's talk about litigation. Regardless of whether a state's workers' comp system is court-based or administrative, attorney involvement percentages may notably vary across states. A simple comparison of average loss costs across states hides the underlying details. States with the same average loss cost might have completely different systems. The first might have an above-average level of benefits and little attorney involvement. The second might be more litigious and provide an average level of benefits. On the medical side, costs may vary across states based on the existence of medical fee schedules, treatment guidelines, network penetration, and trends in healthcare costs. Each state runs its own show with different statutes and degrees of regulatory oversight that can also have a material impact on average loss costs. State-specific loss costs reflect a complex interaction of many different forces. Two states with similar average loss costs may differ in many ways, just like apples and oranges. It's important to remember that the relative magnitude of a state's average loss cost does not indicate the adequacy of the loss costs themselves, nor does it tell us anything about the health of a state's workers' compensation system.